So this random guy on TikTok decides to tell us why he doesn't date black women. So let's watch it. This is entertaining. Let's watch it. All right.
I hesitate or feel so the reason I hesitate or feel resistant toward dating black women is because I've been on dates with three different black women, and on literally every single date, I have had a black man, not every black man, but at least one black man, like, glare at us or be kind of aggressive toward us. And at first, with those first two dates, I was kind of like, am I looking for it? Am I being insecure? Like, is there something, maybe kind of like some implicit racism or something in myself that I'm just like sensitive to that kind of thing, right? Or like creating it, you know what I mean? But on the third date, we had an experience that kind of just solidified the fact that it was happening, where we were walking on the Montreal Canal, right? Like middle of the day, and there was these three black men who were standing there. And as we were walking by, none of them were looking at me. And at this point, I fully admit that at this point, I was like kind of like looking for it. I was like waiting for it to happen because of these past two experiences. But none of them looked at me. But one of them actually like was mean mugging her and like stepped toward her to like kind of like have this like throwing an ugly face toward her or something, like a glare at her. And that experience just kind of confirmed the fact that it was happening on those other dates. And I just like looking at that, like, it just shocked me because I wasn't prepared for that at all. Like, I never thought like something like that would happen. And so I guess the point of this TikTok is just to ask, like, has this happened to anyone else? Like, is this something that's just like I've experienced, or is this like a very common thing? Because like it even was worse than that, where like at the end of that date, we were walking to the metro, and I haven't dated a black woman since because of this. But we ran into her hairdresser and her hairdresser's partner. They're both black. And they were talking, the hairdresser and this girl I was on a date with. And I tried talking to the guy, and he would just like give me one word answers, right? And he wouldn't really like look at me as I was like trying to talk to him. And at some point I just like stopped talking to him, stopped trying to have a conversation, because it was just like clear he didn't want to talk to me. And so like, to have those like glaring experiences, and then like the throwing a glare at her is like stepping forward in an aggressive way, and then to just be like completely ignored by this guy, I was just like really again just like shocked. I guess I'm just like confused by it, because I wasn't expecting like that much hostility for me being a white guy trying to date black women, right? And so I guess like again, like, is this an experience that people have had? I'm just curious. So the reason I hesitate.
So this reminds me of when that white girl asked questions, and she posted it on Instagram, or sorry, TikTok, to ask like, what do you think? I don't know. She asked about like if black women feel like whatever, how black women feel about black men, but my point is that it's kind of like a way of exposing somebody's racism, their internalized racism, but positioning it like they're confused or they're the victim. And can someone else relate with my racist? Like, is it okay that I'm racist? That's kind of what this is giving, because there's so many red flags, so many issues with what he has said. First of all, starting out a video with the reason I don't date, insert any race, insert any demographic, is already going to be triggering, because first of all, he's positioning himself as though black women are seeking him, which like most of the time it's men that are seeking women, right? Most of the time, like if we're just going to use a general rule of thumb, it's typically men that are seeking women, unless you happen to be worth millions of dollars or you're like super high value. I mean, he's not giving high value if you ask me, but typically, it's the men that are seeking the women. So he's trying to position himself as though he's desired, or white men are desired by black women, which like, I'm not going to say that that's not the case. But if you look at statistics, majority of black women date black men. If you just look at statistics, majority of yeah, so that's not necessarily a thing, but he's kind of trying to create this illusion that his value is higher as a white man. That's the first issue. The second issue is this idea of you blaming somebody. Like, it's kind of like you telling somebody that the reason that you won't date them is because how other people treat them, or the reason that you won't like do whatever to somebody, or the way that you interact with someone is based on how other people treat them or treat you dating them. Kind of shows like you're insecure, kind of shows that you're kind of fragile and weak, and kind of shows that like that's probably not the way that you should engage with anyone, and you probably shouldn't be dating black women in the first place if this is how you think. There are people that commented and said their 2 cents. I think let's hear from a white guy. Let's hear from a white guy. Let's start there. A bunch of white guys have responded to this too.
Hesitate or feel resistant toward dating black women is because
this person is a shining example of why you should not and cannot trust anyone with the word coach in their username. And hey man, the next time you have a desire to share your nuance, and when I say nuance, I mean racist thought on a white man dating a black woman, don't
hesitate or feel.
Seriously.
So the reason I hesitate or feel resistant toward dating black.
These are the same dudes who think everyone gay is hitting on them by just existing. None of us are interested. None of us.
I've been on dates with 3 different black women.
You ever hear the saying, if you're looking for something, you're gonna find it? This is a severe case of that. Because wasn't nobody worrying about you. You should have been worrying about her.
Okay. Let's hear. I want to hear from her. She has some great things to say.
So the reason I hesitate or feel resistant toward dating black.
All right, so I already flippantly responded to this, and I never do this because I don't waste my time a lot, but I don't believe this is a waste of time. Stepping into black spaces and black lives is not a casual thing to do. I say that as a very half-black person. And it's actually shocking that some of you enter this life so casually. I want to ask you a couple of things because you're in the business of answering questions that you were not asked, which a lot of people pointed out. Why did you make this video, sir? Seriously, ask yourself why you made it. Because we get looks from people all the time, and we have to question what they mean. Is it just because they don't like us because we're people, or is it because we're brown and black people? The fact that you didn't account for this is very telling about you, and it's very strange, quite honestly. And I would venture to say that almost no woman is safe with you because you don't understand even the dynamics of a woman going out in public, let alone a black woman going out in public. Now,
so this is the other part that I just wanted to talk about. I can't imagine, just me, I don't know, maybe it's the way I was brought up, the way that I walk around in the world. I can't imagine the way that some stranger on the street that I probably won't even notice, won't even give them more than a second of eye contact because you don't exist in my vision, will look at me and glare at me, and I'm going to care. Or I'm not going to glare at them back. I don't know. Is it that I have the black girl stare, or I wouldn't even call it that, but resting bitch face, and it's what can I who's gonna look at me and give me some shady ass look, and I'm not gonna give them a stupid are you crazy kind of look back? Excuse me. So the fact that he will see another man, oh, this is the part that gets me. He'll see another man that gives him a glare, and that to him is threatening as a white man, to say that a black man is threatening to you when you look at historically and the even just the police, not just historically, presently, the amount of brutality that white men inflict, not just on black men, on most people, or have inflicted on most people around the world, raping and pillaging. And I'm not trying to come for white people like that. You're not responsible for your ancestors, but let's be realistic, right? More violence and brutality has been caused by white people, by white men in this world than any other race. That's why white men are at the top of the food chain in the world, right? Everything from Ukraine. Look at that's white on white crime. That's white on white brutality. Afghanistan, that's, you know, the Western countries came to attack, you know, Middle Eastern countries. A lot of the brutality that's faced is from a white man, you know. So to be a white man and then try and position yourself like a victim, you know, like, and for you as a white man to have white girl tears, as what they call it, is just so ridiculous, you know. And then you see black men staring at you and you're scared. Like, seriously? It's so ridiculous. And I don't know. Like, I've just never felt threatened by somebody, or if I'm in a space that it's never even happened, but to me, I can't even understand that. I'm a woman. So me being threatened by someone giving me a glare, like, I can't glare at them back. Like, I don't know. Like, and you're a man and you don't even have that confidence. You probably shouldn't be dating any woman. Any woman probably won't feel safe around you. But let me keep going.
Now, it seemed like you were kind of scared, I would say shook by this behavior that you witnessed. I think it's interesting that you chose to portray black men as the villain in this situation, when there's actually like dangerous people who look like you, who are consistently looking at us all the time, making us feel uncomfortable and uneasy. This gives, like, I'm gonna dabble in the dark arts. What no one in this world needs, because I'm not going to speak for all black women, but what no woman or any person in this world needs is someone making decisions to deal with them or not based on how other people react to them. Like, do you see that? Oh, other people made me feel uncomfortable for being with them, so I just cowered out of it, and I'm going to say I'm never dating them again. You also mentioned dating 3 women. I mean, you did something 3 times, and now you're declaring it, like, impossible to do. That's very limited, right? The main thing is, again, who asked you? Is it all the black women who you think are, like, clamoring to date you? Because that's how it comes off. It's very bizarre. And I think a lot of times people think they're, like, virtue signaling or doing something useful, and you're not. You're just embarrassing yourself and showing your true nature and character. And again, I don't mean this to bully you. I feel like I watched this a couple times, and I feel like you had some, like, decent intention, and you're asking to open a conversation, but you didn't have the vision clear. And if you have a cloudy window that you can't see through, how do you expect others to see through it and understand what you're trying to say? This is like a man who goes out with a beautiful woman and is surprised when, like, men try to, like, scalp her. Is that, like, you weren't expecting that? My man, my man, my man. Also, you're in danger, girl. I feel like I'm not threatening you, but I feel like that is very dangerous and you might want to take that down. But again, most importantly, why did you say this? Because you have, again, cast black people as the villain in your weird odyssey that you're on with yourself. And just say that it made you insecure. That would have been a much more noble video, and people would have actually enjoyed that video. Black men might have even corralled around you. My man knows it's good, but you didn't do that. You tried to vilify them. When you do that, you're gonna piss off the black woman. Even me, a half black woman, you pissed me off. You guys need to think about the things that you post online. What did you want from this? What was your intention? What did you hope to gain?
So the reason...
Honestly, I couldn't have said it better. She really, hit a home run with that. And a lot of black men, let's hear from a black man and see the perspective, because black men are just minding their business. They're just minding their business, and you're coming to say all this nonsense about them. And what did you expect? It's almost like he's trying to capitalize on the whole gender wars between black men and black women, and he's trying to capitalize on that hype on the internet. But it's kind of like, you have to understand, like, it's kind of like when you can diss your family member, your sister, your mom, but when an outsider comes and disses your family member, now you're offended. Don't put my mom's name in your mouth. Don't put my sister's name in your mouth. And that's how I feel like black men are reacting to this too, because, like, yo, what?
So the reason I hesitate or feel resistant toward dating black women...
No one cares. Stop answering unasked questions. Embrace the 60.
Okay. This is
One of them actually, like, was mean mugging her and, like, stepped toward...
What's up, y'all? Please make sure you guys go watch that entire stitch to get the full synopsis of what this gentleman was saying. Now, I've seen some people who are reacting to this, and basically they were kind of upset, even called this gentleman weak, in regards to basically him saying that he does not date black women, or he's resistant to dating black women because of the discomfort that he felt from other people's reaction to them. namely black men. And so basically he asked us, as women who do interracially date.
No, he didn't ask black women. He asked everybody else, every other white dude, do you feel this too?
Black women that interracially date, have we experienced this? And so I'm going to answer this gentleman's question and say, yes, absolutely. Now, I talk about this quite often because I have interracially dated my entire life. Being my first boyfriend, first relationship ever, was with a non-black man. And Orlando, where I'm from, is very diverse, but even then it was kind of awkward. This is early 2000s. Okay.
I already know that this is giving pick me. And to be honest, like, I don't think anybody has any issue with anybody having a preference. It's just like, you don't need to explain your preference when people don't ask. When people don't know you, people don't care. Nobody's asking you to explain your preference. And more specifically, it's one thing to say, oh, I prefer this, I prefer that. It's another thing entirely to say, I don't prefer this, I don't prefer that. Especially when you're talking about people. If I come on here and I say, I don't like oranges and I don't like bananas, I actually love both. If I say I don't like that, then it's like, okay, whatever, who cares? These are fruits. But you're literally excluding out a group of people and saying, I don't like this. As if like those people even like you in the first place, as if those people even desire you in the first place. I mean, he's not a heartthrob. He's not getting women swooning. So it's like, why are you even having this conversation when a lot of these women are not even interested in you? And we know that in general, women are more desirable than men. We know that in general, male virginity rates are skyrocketing. We know in general that men are the ones that are pursuing women. So generally, it's more likely that you're more desirous of these women than they are of you. It's just like, we just kind of know that. So, but let me keep going.
And then I moved to the Carolinas. And when I moved to the Carolinas, it was absolutely a no-no in regards to dating. What people don't like to talk about in regards to the black community is that a lot of people have the thought process that black women are not allowed to date men of other races. Okay? I would say that it is more acceptable for black men to date other races than it is for black women to date other races. Okay, we have the responsibility of keeping things black and keeping the black community black. Okay.
So I can never understand anybody that can live their life based on other people's expectations and other people's imposing any sort of standards or rules on them. Like, everybody has the freedom to feel whatever they want to feel. If this is how black men want to feel, that's their prerogative. It's also your prerogative to say, shut the F up, I don't give a shit what you think, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do as a black woman who is sovereign over my life. So like, if that is the case, so what? Everybody is free to feel however they want to feel. And you have to understand context too. There's a reason that black men feel this way. If you look at it historically, there are implications. Just historically, there have been implications when white men possess black women, right? Just even through slavery in America. When you look at that history of the abuse on black women, the possession of black women by white men, and the taunting of ownership of black women towards black men, and then in addition to that, the stirring the pot of the gender war, because it was white men that stirred that pot. You see black men and women fighting online. They don't even know that these people are feeding into, a historic or generational curse that was built from the slave trade, and they're perpetuating, the past. They don't know this, but this was all designed by white men. So like, there's somewhere instinctively in a black American man's spirit or heart that just kind of understands that this doesn't look right to me, because historically it was never right. Historically, white men, and I'm not blaming anybody for their forefathers, but there are generational curses. So historically, white men used and possessed black bodies. They possessed black males' bodies, and they still do that through criminalization of them and all that stuff. They also possess black women's bodies through sexuality. I've made a few documentaries you guys should go watch. One of them is The Great Divide, and I talk about the history of white supremacy. I go to a slave port in Badagry slave port, one of the biggest slave ports in West Africa. I go there, I explore it in this documentary link down below. I have another YouTube video that's called The Over-Sexualization of Black Femininity. And I talk about the history, the slave history there, and how white men have possessed black female bodies, and how they still do it today in the media, and how they position black women in over-sexualized ways. I talk about the history, and those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. So there is a historic context here that we cannot negate. So go watch those two videos, link down below. But you have to understand that there's a reason that black men are charged when they see this, right? There's a reason. But there's so many other dynamics at play here when it comes to the gender wars. But let's keep going.
Okay. And we're called all kinds of awful names and whatever have you. And this has been a common theme. One of the things that prevents a lot of black women from dating people of other races, and even people of other races from dating black women, is the discomfort, is the glares, is the stares. I've talked about how I've been out on dates and brothers have tried to say things to me. What are you doing with him? Da 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 da. Being weird, staring me down. I've had brothers actually sitting with a non-black woman on a date, but stare me down while I'm on a date with a non-black person.
These are all just byproducts of white supremacy and slavery. And it's not any different from being a black person and having a white person like be racist towards you. It's a similar thing. But my point is that as a society, as much as it really sucks and people need to do better, and they need to stop being so ignorant. I'm not encouraging the black men that do this. Like, it's completely ignorant and stupid. Like, mind your business. And black women that do that too to black men that date with white women. If the black men want to date white men, that's their God-given right. It's not your business. Let them go date them, right? But at the end of the day, I just kind of feel like you as an individual, an outsider, especially someone that you don't even know, has no influence over your life, does not even pay any of your bills, for them to give you any kind of like opinion, anything that's so irrelevant to your life, and that for that to affect how you conduct your life is kind of ridiculous to me. Like, if they can look at you all they want, that's not your business. It's not my business how you feel about me. It's really not. I don't care, and that kind of, I understand that, like, that's my attitude, and I'm very strong about my attitude, and not a lot of people are, but I just kind of feel like you have to have thick skin. Like, this kind of whinging about, victimhood is just, I don't know. I don't live this existence, so it's hard for me to really understand it.
We're completely held to a different standard. And people don't want to admit it. People want to gaslight us about it. And basically they want to intimidate us into not dating out, okay? They feel like they own us and that we are possessions. And I'm talking about black men, that we're possessions, okay? Nobody else, they don't want us, but no one else can want us either.
Again, it's just kind of to me, I'm like, who are these people? It's like people that are stuck in the gutter and the crabs in the barrel mentality. They're just like swimming in that gutter together. Like, who are these people that you encounter that do this? And how do you even, I just feel like a lion does not care about the opinions of sheep, right? Like, or an ant. Like, who, what? I'm just so confused. These irrelevant people that you don't even know and you care about what they think. What?
And they do make it uncomfortable. And there's some dudes who don't date us because they fear the community's reaction to it, or their own community's reaction to it.
Anyway, anybody who doesn't have thick skin can be gone with that. You have a problem with it, mind your business, get the hell out. If you don't have the thick skin to do it, you probably shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Get the hell out. Like, that's just how I feel. But my personal opinion. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that video was offensive? Do you agree with the video? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, all the above. You're watching the Kenna Mo Show, and I'm your host, Kenna Mo. And before I go, I got to tell you about my new app, Ray Messenger. Ray Messenger, you can, it's basically like Chat GPT on the go. And essentially, you can, let me go to a website. You can ask it anything. It's called Ray the AI, the website. And you can essentially, there you go. It's so you get, it's like you get basically Chat GPT on the go. You get it on Instagram. You can DM her on Instagram right now. Instagram is Ray the AI. You get it on WhatsApp and you get it on Facebook Messenger. And you just go in there and you ask questions like, or ask her to write emails for you, ask her to write essays for you, ask her to write anything for you, write a plan for you, give me a strategy to do this, write me this email in Oprah Winfrey's voice. Ask her to do anything. It's ChatGPT on the go. Go check it out. RayTheAI.com, or go on Instagram. On Instagram, come on now. Is the Instagram link not going? Hold on. On Instagram, go to Ray the AI. All right. Anyway, okay, this is the WhatsApp link here. Bam. So I could chat with her on WhatsApp right now. Where's the Instagram? Instagram. I don't think I linked it. No, that's WhatsApp. Instagram. Come on now. Is it not linked? No, I haven't linked it. But just go on Ray the AI on WhatsApp. RAETHEAI on WhatsApp. Sorry, on Instagram. And you can start chatting right now. Free trial. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. A peace.